Hello, I'm recording a new video of this. I haven't recorded this in a while, actually. Well, because I can only record on certain days. In the past 2 days that I've had availability to record, like my roommates were gone, I ended up recording The Sims instead. Because I reached winter time in The Sims, and I'm just really craving winter, and I was like, I gotta see some snow, even if it's fake digital snow, so I was really obsessed with I was like, I'm so motivated to see the snow, I have to see the snow. But now I'm finally getting back to this after a while. This game, playing Roadwarden again. I forget that I need to do some sort of intro or something. Hi, I'm playing Roadwarden again. This is probably the seventh episode. So there are 6 ahead of it. Go see those if you want to. Also, watch time is important, so if you've clicked on this video, watch it all the way through, even if you have to, like, put it on ×2 speed or something, or like not even watch it, leave it muted in the background. But I think like clicking on a video and clicking away after 5 seconds or something is like really bad for the algorithm or something. I don't know how it works. I've just heard that's a thing. Like sometimes if I click on a video and then I realize that I'm not really interested in it, but I'm not interested in a bad way. Like, it's not necessarily that the video is bad, it's just not really a topic that I care about. I'll still, like, leave it on in the background. I'll just let it play. I'll put it on ×2 speed and put the volume down to, like, 5% where I can barely hear it. Because I don't want to hurt that person's channel by clicking the video and clicking away and then having it look like nobody cares about their videos when it's like, you know, it's not that I don't care, like, I don't like the topic, but I don't have anything against you personally. Random person who I saw once on my recommended page. Like, maybe I'm the only person who does that. So anyway, yeah, so we're in White Marshes right now, I think. We saw Orintius, who is a priest. Never leaves his house. He might kidnap people. He's raising the undead. Because there's, like, zombie kind of things going on in this little city where they, like, do work for them or something. So these are, like, the main people. Foggy Lake. We gotta go there, because she apparently has alchemical tools that she might let me use. Become rich. I'm not making very much progress at that. I've been talking to lots of people about the old Roadwarden. Like, if I just keep going this way, I'll probably end up going... They'd probably connect somewhere, or at least lead to a similar place, so instead of going around and going up, I could probably just keep going this way, maybe. And I could at least make it back to here as shelter, if I have to. I don't know what this entails. Like, how do I know when I've spied for her enough? How do I know when I've gotten all the information that she wants? I have at least done these 3 things. I mean, I've done 3 things, and it's only... day 8, so I guess I've just woken up in the morning. I think this is the start of the day. It doesn't seem like I've done anything yet. Yeah, I think my plan is probably just to keep going this way, see where it leads, see what I can find. I also need to branch out this way, and I realized when I was editing videos, because, you know, I record and then I wait like 3 months and then finally edit the video that I recorded 3 months ago, because I have so much stuff going on. I'm always so busy. I have so many projects and doctor's appointments and this and that. Between recording and all that stuff, I forget things. But I noticed that when I was here, there was an option to look around, and I did not look around. I just left because it was so late in the day. I was afraid that I wasn't going to be able to get back to a place where I could sleep for the night. So actually, even though this is impassable because I don't have anybody to clear the rocks or whatever, there is still an interaction here that I haven't done. At some point I should go here and actually do the looking around. For now, I'll probably just go try and complete this little circle. Locals keep their distance from you and from their undead workers. Alright, I guess I just travel. Gosh, my nose is so stuffy. I'm gonna sound like this while I'm reading today, probably. I haven't done this in so long, I must have forgotten my generic narrator voice. As you ride past the fields, one of the local farmers enters the road, gesturing for you to stop. He's holding a rusty sickle and carries a basket on his back, filled with various weeds and a sharpened club. His patched, worn tunic is neglected, but fitting for a farmer. The lean years left his face skinny, and his teeth crooked, but his sad eyes hold heartwarming kindness. Eyes. I don't know why I said eyes that way. Hi there, Warden. He has a thick local accent. I've been wondering just now. There's a small matter, you see. Do you know how to read? I used to be a scholar. Fantastic! He gives you a radiant smile. Give me a few moments. Without waiting for your response, he runs to the village and returns to you with a small sack in his hands. How about you take a look at it? He unwraps the package and reveals a large wax tablet made of bone. It's a letter from someone I care about, but I'm not sure what it says. I'll give you a coin once you read it for me. You take the tablet from his open palm. It's fancy, unlike the wooden ones. On its back you find an engraving portraying a large furry beast. It's made from a troll's hip, the farmer says proudly. You examine the confident, deep signs written within the wax. The letter is short. Valens, it starts. I couldn't bear another day in this nightmarish village, but now I don't have to. I've met another soul during my hunting trip south. We will start a new family. Goodbye. No signature. The man is walking in place, waiting for you to speak. What should I ask? Wait, is this like I get one chance, or can I ask these questions and then tell him what's in it? That's a pretty tablet. He puts his hands on his sides. His smile is filled with pride. Did it myself, with cold nights and a little iron. Takes thinking to keep your hands busy. Why do you need my help? He frowns as if the answer is obvious. No merchants come around here these days, and no missionaries. And we don't need to read around here, but you do have a priest in the village. He looks at the gate as if he just realized you're right. I asked him. His tone is cold. But he was no help. Said the letters are blurry. They look fine to me. I know what's in the letter. He puts a hand on his forehead. You can't tell if it's a sign of relief or tension. Well, I mean, Thistle would just be straight up with the guy. He's not really like the type of person that's gonna lie about things. I mean, he would if it was for his own benefit, but in this situation, he doesn't stand to benefit anything, saying something one way or the other, so he always defaults to honesty, unless dishonesty would give him a significant leg up. But in most situations where dishonesty isn't actually going to help anything or not really change anything one way or the other, he's not going to really lie just to spare someone's feelings. Again, unless that person is like, I don't know, the mayor of a village, maybe he would lie to spare their feelings, but why lie? Why drag it out? He's going to find out at some point anyway. I repeat to him his husband's words. At first he freezes, then gives a hateful look towards Oryntius's hut. He knew what this piece of shit did, he growls. He always asks to be heard, only to spread lies. Why do I need to find a stranger to hear the truth for once in my life? His eyes get gentler once he looks at you, but you notice the tears in his eyes. His shaking hands offer you the reward. Now, about the tablet. Here you go. Ooh, a bone stylus. I don't want it. He steps away. You know what? Take this. He pulls out a bone stylus that perfectly matches the colors of the tablet. Together maybe they'll buy you a few meals at a trader's stall. Good luck, Warden. Farewell. You hear a weak moan coming from one of the houses. You notice a skinny woman with a blue headscarf. She stares at your mount like a wolf at an elk. I thought I damn left here. Didn't I say leave? I mean, I traveled this way. Does that just not take me anywhere? Because I clicked on that. Why am I put back here? I guess because the guy I just talked to wasn't that far outside of the village. I approach the woman and observe scrambled egg. She moves away but meets your eyes and makes a smile-like grimace, then leads you behind the empty animal pen, away from the guard's ears. Her grey hair, mostly covered, is deceiving. She's no older than 30, yet her face is marked by insect bites and pustule scars. She takes confident steps, even though she wears muddy foot wraps without boots and a worn, simple skirt. I almost said shirt. Skirt. She squeezes the front of her scarf on her chest, shaping it into something like a short, hooded cloak. A warden, I heard. She answers your nod by pursing her lips. I need you to ride somewhere for me. Tell me. Tell me. Far away from here, at the eastern road, there's an old bridge made from a single rock. She doesn't look away for even a single heartbeat. Her gaunt face is pale, and it makes her large grey eyes look as if someone took their colour away. Beneath it, there's a rock, and beneath the rock, a purse with my savings. Bring it to me. Before you mention your reward, she starts to speak faster, giving the men at the gate a nervous glance. Half of what you'll find is yours. Bring me the rest. Yeah, because I think, didn't I take that? Didn't I get something under a bridge? How much should be there? Oh man, couldn't I ask her shit, did I leave the Dukazuku? I hate when there's like multiple options, and like sometimes when there's multiple dialogue options you get to ask multiple of them, and then sometimes when there's multiple dialogue options you only get to choose one. And I'm a person who likes to go through as many dialogue options as possible because I love details and I'm a detail-oriented freak and I want to get all the possible information that I possibly can, and every ounce of exposition I must squeeze out of everything, so when I accidentally miss other things that I could have said, I'm like, no, I'm missing information now. 20 bones if that old fool didn't try to scam me. She takes a deep breath. Half of it is more than worth the effort. Seeing the curious looks of the gods, she shakes her head and leaves you to yourself as she passes by flesh-bearing undead. Okay, flesh. I thought it said fish-bearing. I should tell the woman about her pouch. She's just at the edge of the yard, keenly observing you, and as you approach her, she once again leads you further away from the gate, this time behind a turf house. She reaches out to you with an open palm and speaks quietly. May the right bless you, stranger. I don't know. I'm definitely not gonna say this. I'm not gonna lie, saying that it's completely rotten. And I'm not gonna give her all my money, sorry. I mean, that would be nice. Like, I would want to one day if I figure out, like, how long can I put this off? Could I wait until, like, end game, when hopefully I have discovered every place and I've done a lot of quests and I have a lot of coins and stuff and I can, like, go back to her and give her a bunch of money? Because, like, that would be cool if I could do that, but I don't know if I'll get the chance to do that, you know? So should I say this and stall and walk away and try and earn more money and then at some point give her 10 dragon bones? Because, you know, eventually I'll be rolling in the dragon bones, obviously. Or should I just be honest now? Because if I say this, I'm afraid, like, what if she thinks I'm lying? What if she turns on me? And she's like, no, you bitch, I know that you took it all, or something like that. And I'm like, I promise I didn't. Look, I don't have any money. Unfortunately, the pouch was torn and rotten. This is the only dragon bone that I found. She looks at the sky, then to the ground. For 2 heartbeats, she can't stop herself from revealing the despair in her eyes, but she then adjusts her headscarf, takes a deep breath, and moves her shoulders. I have not even a fistful of blueberries to thank you, stranger, but I'll tell the rest of the village you're a trustworthy messenger if anyone asks. Hardly anyone does around here. She hobbles away, splashing mud with every step. Well, whoops. Sorry. Sucks. I mean, I could have given her 10 coins, but then I would have no coins, because I think I only have 10 coins, or I have like 11. If I had 30 dragon bones at this point, I definitely would have just lied and given her 10. If I had 20 dragon bones at this point, I would have debated it, but I probably would have given her 10, but because I only have like 10, I just don't know how to get rich yet. Whoopsie. But I wonder if that could have been a good thing. Like, would she give me something eventually? I don't know, at least she thinks I'm trustworthy. I mean, I return to my bundles. Can I fucking leave? I was trying to leave, and then somebody stopped me. You leave the wetlands behind. The pebbled road runs through the hillside, with tall grasses and rock faces above you and dark, lush forest below. This is loud forest background noise. I gotta turn the volume down. Chunks of this path were shaped by human tools, who knows how many centuries ago. To widen it, the builders dug through uneven boulders and used rocks and logs to fill up the cavities with— oh my gosh, this creature is loud. These bird creatures. It's like going in my ear. I can't pay attention to reading. To widen— what the was that? I just heard a big louder noise, too. To widen it, the builders dug through the uneven boulders and used rocks and logs to fill up the cavities with thousands of rocks, each one smaller than your fist. While you have a good view of what's happening between the trees on your right, the bushes and shrubs grow so densely between them that you can't imagine entering these woods on your own. Farther south, there are plumes of smoke. They must be coming from white marshes. What? Where is this? What? Where am I? Abandoned place. At the top of the hill, you reach a stone wall, a quiet place with no smoke coming from behind it. You look inside and see the glimpse of a peaceful ruin. While the main road is beaten and easy for the hooves— hooves? Hooves? I don't know how to say that. I don't think I've ever heard a person with an accent say hooves. Hooves? Hooves? The destroyed gate and the remains of the front yard are almost reclaimed by the short grasses. You seek any suspicious movement, but the place seems to be free of inhabitants larger than a falcon. The air is fresh. The wind shakes the tree crowns gently. I enter the yard. The hamlet could be a hunter's shelter, a military outpost, or storage for traders, but you spot no fresh human trails. The damaged door and gate are years old, soggy and mouldy, and judging by the squirrels, birds, and the animal feces you see in the grass, this place is but a part of the wilderness. The roof collapsed only a few years back, turning into food for mushrooms. The outer wall looks generations old, but it used to be maintained. Some of its materials came from different times and areas. Can I search behind the building first? Uh-oh. Gooberty gobbers. I should have gone in the building. Farts. I don't even know what happened. I haven't read any of the text yet. I just heard the music pick up. It's like fight music. The chaos sparks right after you approach the tree stump. The dusk fox's growl sounds like a hybrid of an obnoxious bird and an infant. One of the animals, standing only a few feet away from you, is jumping and showcasing its tiny, sharp teeth and a raccoon-like black mask on the little head. The animal, with its thick brownish-grey fur, seems more stout than any red fox. The second loud creature gets onto the table made of a halved trunk. Unlike the first one, it has a brighter, golden fur. It bends one of its forelegs, observing you with its dark eyes. Not furious nor scared, rather sad and protective. Its growl turns into a miserable whine. The beasts are not even waist-high, but their number may be an issue. There's yet another sound coming from behind you, and even more from the bushes nearby. Well, I'm not going to kick them. My knowledge could be of use here. I have enough time to judge the situation clearly. I don't know what that means. You take a quick glance and memorize your surroundings. There's 3 large creatures in your proximity. The third one is right behind you, and more loud, it's lumbering on its paws. The noises from the bushes belong to little pups, most likely harmless, though they're doing their best to imitate their guardians. Your sharp senses allow you to react right away. Why do I have to fight them? It seems like a group of foxes defending fox cub babies. Since the one behind me is weaker, does this mean I run away? Because I want to run away, I do not want to attack the little animal. Run for it, I think means just flee. That's what I want to do, because I don't think they're a danger. Since the one behind me is weaker than the others, I run for it. You pass the weaker fox and run toward your belongings, encouraging the beast to chase you all the way to the gate as they're growling with determination. For now, they stay in the shelter, filled with pride. You and Scrambled Egg take a few steps away. The creatures won't let me get close to the building. I wanted to see what was in the building. Can I maybe just come back another day? I gotta remember that place, though. I have to go there, and I have to go inside at some point. Maybe. They're defending their cubs right now, but they're not gonna be babies forever. I wonder if enough time passes, will the foxes kind of grow up and just leave or something? You're squeezed between the hills and the forest. The only larger beast you spot is a single saurian basking on a boulder, lazily observing you from a safe distance. Your ears catch the howls coming from the north, long and loud. And as you keep an eye on the rock ledges, you almost miss the drastic shift in the landscape. The forest turns into a lake, and the few plants growing next to the road mostly bear fruit. The road is not as reliable here as it was in the hills. Parts of it are a bit muddy, and the puddles disturb your ride. 12 hours. Maybe the locals will maintain it before it gets swallowed by the lake. The deep, loud yells of howlers are piercing your ears, concealing any other sound in the area. They're sitting on branches and in the tall grass, not really trying to hide. Their thick black and gold furs cover their entire shells, aside from the charcoal black faces, with roundish, flat noses and wide nostrils. The younger members of the pack are about the size of your mount's head, but the larger ones would be chest-high if it wasn't for the fact that they walk on all fours. Their long tails are like an additional arm, helping them climb, hang from the branches, or hold food while they eat. They aren't particularly muscular, but when they form their pink lips into the shape of a cup to release their howls, their mouths are so wide they could fit your entire arm inside. As you listen to the shouts, you're reaching for your head. You feel a weird itch, but somehow can't touch it. Oh, that's scary. What does that mean? I have like a phantom bug crawled under my scalp or something? Keeping my distance, I take a look at the skin behind the boulder. There's skin behind the boulder? I didn't even catch that. Wait, what? Yeah, this paragraph says nothing about there being skin behind a boulder. The whitish rawhide covers the grass like a blanket, surrounded by paw prints. The howlers don't wait for you to approach it. One of the larger ones jumps on the ground, leaning on its hands and challenging you with its gaze. It has rather blunt teeth. Too bad I have nothing to plug my ears with. I kind of want to do this because I could probably use the hide for something, but, like, Generally, I don't want to do stuff like this. Or wait, let me look at my journal. How easily are they scared away? Monkeys, not as dangerous as apes. Instead of using weapons, they scream. Oh, their calls are dangerous to people. Yeah, that's probably what I'm feeling. I don't know, could I try and do that? You stretch out your legs, then dash ahead. At first, the monkeys move away with a few unconvinced yells, but then those from above start to howl, even deeper than before, and you feel as if your guts are starting to move, hitting against each other. You get dizzy, and soon the pain enters your skull as if you're getting hit by a smith's hammer, time and time again. Yet you manage to stay calm, focused on your goal. The larger creatures try to cut your path, but being on the ground, they can't keep up with your legs. Without stopping, you grab the rawhide and carry on, waiting for a few heartbeats before you change direction rapidly, now getting closer to Scrambled Egg. By the time you reach the saddle, the beasts have already abandoned their pursuit. You take a few deep breaths, then inspect the rawhide. The wet, torn blanket is now worth as much as a bread crust. Still, it's not rotten. If the owner is around, they may recognize it. Oh man, I thought it was going to be useful. There was a shop earlier where we could buy, maybe it was fabric. I don't know, we could buy something like a fur or a fabric or something, so I thought like, hey, maybe instead of buying one, we can take this one and have it for free, but apparently it sucks, so never mind. The lakeside is filled with the chirping of cicadas, or cicadas, I don't really know how to pronounce that, and crickets, as well as the roaring of beasts from the northern hills. Farther down the road you see yellow, tall grasses interwoven with flowers and bumblebees, while the peaceful water shines just as much as the wings of dragonflies. This road is often travelled, and the clatter of hooves carries far. Thanks to the vast field of view, the creatures hiding in the meadows are unlikely to jump on an animal as large as Scrambled Egg. In the distance you see a palisade and a large building set on the side of a crossroad. Once you get closer, you hear a conversation from behind the wall. Two men are arguing about if they really just heard a horse. Maybe they know some useful rumors. I don't know, I could chat with them, I guess. Scrambled Egg carries you toward the open gate on its own, welcoming an opportunity to rest by pushing out the air loudly through its nostrils. A nearby wooden pin won't offer much space for a horse, but should be enough for grazing and a nap. As you dismount, two men get up from the front stairs. Their clean-shaven faces reveal that they're in their early 20s. The first one is taller than you, broad-shouldered, and wears light brown pants and a dark jacket, both of them made of leather. With an inviting smile, he gets up and moves to open the enclosure. His steps are heavy and slow, but every movement is marked with carefulness, assuring he won't knock down anything or anyone. The second man looks as different from his colleague as the sun and the moon. He's unusually short and wears a heavy cloak made of black fur, so large it could cover his entire shell. He opens the door of the building, hides his hand, and peeks into the room. "Foggy!" His voice is shrill and unconcerned. "A messenger! Come!" I take off some of my bundles, let my horse rest. The hanging barrel sways in the wind, marking the place as an inn or a tavern. The building resembles a merchant's house from Hovlevan, whitewashed and with oiled, elegant wooden beams. The fragile walls are high enough to avoid floods and snow, but you have no doubt that a troll or even a peddler could easily break through them. The palisade is short, has hardly any support, and has no walkway for crossbowmen, oddly enough for even a makeshift hamlet. Yet it's the open harbour that makes you uneasy. Aside from the fish, any creature, aquatic or not, could just walk into the yard undisturbed. The path is covered with paw prints and claw marks. Better not to leave Scrambled Egg outside during the night. A black and white bird swoops into the water, then flaps its wings and takes off with a silver twitching creature in its talons. The large man clears his throat. "And what have we here? Coming from afar, friend? Are there now horses and howlers?" His voice is stentorian, close to a shout. You recognize vaguely his accent from the city harbour. What should I say? "Quite far, kind soul. Scrambled Egg came with me from Hovlevan." I laugh. "Far away indeed, you can't see it from here. They have donkeys and mouflons, but no horses. I came here from the city." I stare at him in silence. Shut up. I have a long journey behind me, and I need a place to rest. I don't know, just, default to being friendly, kind of normal. "Quite far, kind soul. Scrambled Egg came with me from Hovlevan." He nods appreciatively. "A weird beast, huh? A donkey that can kill a man." You notice he keeps quite a distance from it and holds his hand close to his throwing club. "Haven't seen one in a while. The roads here aren't that bad. They'll take you north and east with ease." You hear heavy footsteps. A woman shows up in the door and she looks at you from the top of the stairs. She's even more towering and stout than her son, the man who just welcomed you, with a massive chest and pear-shaped face with a prominent chin. The movements are composed and confident. She may be older than 50, with a mixture of grey and dark blonde hair. She has only one arm, the left one, notably muscular, and with a hand so large it can likely chop off Scamberleg's head with a single strike, or crush yours like a berry. Through the slit of her robe, made of creamy worn fur, you spot her trunk-like legs. She runs her eyes over your blade, armour, and mount. Her lips form into something of a smile, distorted by the scar that runs through her mouth. The tall guy looks a lot like her. Tall man spreads his arms, forming a chain between you and his mother. Meet Foggy, friend. Ma, the rider has come to us from Hablavan. Just look at his horse. His powerful voice turns to timid and keeps turning his head from left to right and back. It's too bad we have no hay. It looks hungry. The woman looks at him with amusement, then glances at your palfrey.
Yes, a cute monster you've brought, but not enough fat on it. If it ever breaks a leg, bring it here. We'll smoke it for winter.
She stretches out her only hand vaguely.
What brings you to Foggy Lake, love? Just stopping by?
Her voice is hoarse, like that of a traveller who spent too many autumn nights in cold tints. It carries a hint of motherly concern. Close the animal pin behind me and head towards the stairs.
You won't find another shelter in this part of the Dragonwoods, especially not in creeks.
She scratches her broad chin with sausage-like fingers.
You drink?
I make a single loud clap. Yeah, give me the alcohol! From time to time, only if there's no water around. Only with those I trust. Big tough man. Strong handshake. Yes.
Strong drinks give me nightmares.
Again, let's just default to the friendly option. I shake my head gently. I don't, but go ahead. I'll accompany you. She scoffs with a kind smile.
I don't plan to get drunk either, but it's your choice. Come, dear, share a story with me. I may have a snack to spare.
Without waiting for your response, she walks inside. The tall man takes a deep breath. Go ahead. We'll take care of your horse. He encourages you with a gesture.
And by that he means we won't do anything with it,
adds the man in black fur. Whenever his screechy words follow the deep voices of his companions, he sounds like a brat.
We're not feeding or washing beasts that we're not going to put in a stew, but we'll keep an eye on it.
They find new spots to rest, the side of a boat and a stool near the palisade. Should I ask them that? Because I don't want to leave my horse alone and have my horse get hurt. Without another word, I go up the stairs. The narrow because, I had just mentioned that, this place was not very defensible or whatever, that there were so many angles that beasts could get in, and I was, afraid about my horse getting attacked, so, I don't think I should encourage them to leave my horse alone. What is this? Is this new? I traveled to the 4 major crossroads that connect the peninsula. Wow. The narrow, segmented window shutters let in a lot of light without letting the beasts inside. The air is humid, but carries not a hint of putridity. The heels of Foggy's boots make her steps thunder, even though the planks don't creak.
Make yourself at home,
she says without looking at you, heading to the trap door in the corner.
I'll just grab a little something.
Your ears catch the screeches of hunting birds and the wind that leaks in through the windows, but other than that, the room is quiet. Investigate the main hall. The room is crammed with stuff. The bare pelt on the ground would be a nice resting spot, but the place doesn't look like a real home. No chest, no cabinets for clothes, no toys or tools for simple crafts that would fill the time during rainy evenings. Living with so many windows in winter would be a struggle. One could clear this place in one morning and move all that's worth saving into a single wagon. The only things of exceptional value are the cauldron, made of pricey steel, and the hanging head of an insect-like monster. Its mandibles don't move, the dim eyes seem intact, and its armored head tells a long story of survival through scratches and cuts. Look where the ladder leads, maybe. You climb up the simple rope ladder and reach the attic. It smells like a haystack. The floor is covered with animal furs, bags, and clothes. There's a soul sitting in a corner, a bearded man in his 20s who has only the right hand. Though unlike the tavern keeper, he's kept the rest of his arm. His sleepy eyes observe you without a word. After he greets you with a nod, he starts to put on his boots. Check the basement? The meagre light hinders your view. There are dozens of barrels, sacks, stone tools, bowls, and pieces of roasted fish or bird meat. Foggy notices you, but doesn't say anything. She looks for something among a bunch of bottles. There's a couple more animal trophies placed on top of the barrels and leaning against the walls. Fangs, claws, monster heads, and a lizard skin. Quite a collection. I'll sit down at the table and wait for the innkeeper's return. You take a glance at the blood on the table, the scattered yellow feathers, and a bowl of guts and talons. You find yourself a clean stool. Foggy shows up soon, smiling, holding a plate with fruits and a cup squeezed among them, a bottle in her fingers and a cloth under her shoulder. She puts everything on a stool and wipes the table clean.
Forgive the mess. Just a part of the job, she explains without a hint of apology. I'd rather dress birds in the yard, but the blood lures beasts. Sometimes the folks from creeks bring us meals, but we need to take care of ourselves. She throws the bloody cloth back into the bucket, making a splash, then sits down on a stool, making it look like it was made for a doll. She rests her elbow on the table and looks you in the eyes. Her voice is warm, yet intrusive. So, who am I dealing with? I introduce myself. The bottle removes its seal, seemingly by itself. The wax floats in the air briefly, then lands on the table gently. Without a word, she pours a thick liquid into the cup with her only hand, but doesn't offer you any snacks just yet. I'm looking for Asterion, the previous Roadwarden. She looks at you for a longer moment without the slightest movement. And why do you think he's here? I'm not saying that I do, but maybe you know where I can find him? Ah, I misunderstood you. She shakes her head and leans on the table. I don't know his whereabouts. He didn't tell me a thing more than I needed to hear. When was the last time you saw Asterion? She glances at a window. Same as the others, in the late days of spring. We were waiting for his return, me and all the villagers, then he moved on. I've no idea where he went. All of the villagers, you say? She turns toward you with the fierceness of a bear. That's what I said. What can you tell me about him? She rests her only hand across her stomach, which you identify as her version of crossing her arms. A customer and an errand runner. What's there to say? Your additional questions don't get many more answers. She brings up the man's looks and equipment without adding much to what you've already learned from Tulia. He was paying with dragons, rarely bartered, she adds. That's what city folk do, yeah? Seeking riches and locking themselves in a chamber, prisoners of their might. Oh yeah, this would be a lie because my goal is to make money. I smile. Well said. Her chuckle makes you think of a wolf's growl. Did he do any jobs for you? She's pressing her tongue against her cheek and lips. Well, I'm not sure. He was bringing me news or delivering my messages. Sold me some stuff, sometimes bought a thing or two. His life wasn't really that riveting. Just another mug guzzler, sitting in the corner patching his clothes. Did he sell you anything unusual? She stares at you without blinking. Such as what? Maybe something that hints to where he went. She frowns. I'll tell you if I think of anything. You don't sound especially bothered by his disappearance. Why would she be? I mean, I want to say this just to see what dialogue she gives, but, like, why? I don't think she'd care. Who cares? He's just some guy. He's just some dude. You don't sound especially bothered by his disappearance. Do you see me as someone eager to make friends with a vagabond? I'll take it as a compliment to my skills as a tavern keep. Folks come and go, their faces disappear, friends die in my arms. She pauses. Families fade away. There was a different Roadwarden a few years ago, and there's another one now. But there's only one Foggy in the north, and one Illan, that slow son of mine, and one Creeks. I have only so many tears to spare. We'll return to this later. Maybe. Once our souls will be too restless to stay quiet. But now, go ahead, have a snack. The flesh of the pear is still white, the carrot is firm and crisp. The plums can't be from here. The place lacks a stove, so they were brought here from another settlement. They have a smoky aroma of burnt hazel twigs, smelling like winter food. Such snacks would be fitting, even on the plates in the Merchant Guild. Foggy leans forward with an elbow resting on the table. Well, for me it's a lazy morning. At least the rain spare us, so nicely holding on to nights. What's the story behind this place? It can't be older than a few years. It's our third summer under the roof of Foggy Lake, but the palisade is older. Used to be a camping spot for the bird catchers from creeks, and there are fish here that don't swim in our streams. When we were but newcomers in the north, these lands were hard to bend, but the beast got used to us with time. The melancholy crawls into her eyes. As she observes the mead in her cup, you reach for a snack. Every year or so we added something new. The rocks for a campfire, some stools, a fence, a firewood shed, a boat. At one point we brought the lumber from White Marshes and built a cabin, like the one at the Eastern Road. More folks were resting here, even traders from Gale Rocks and Old Pagos. A plenty fine spot for an inn, Her smile is warm. I'm building my home from nothing, you could say, and not for the first time. How about you? Does any of it sound tempting? Yeah, this is probably what he would say for real, but he's going to say something like this. I mean, these are both true, but also he's never going to have a home if he's always poor, which he is right now, so, well, that's the dream. A place far away from Hovlevan. Somewhere I can rest after a day of work without an aching back. Now you speak my own words, love, my own words. We have a good home here in the north. Not a safe one, not a fun one, but there's plenty of food and plenty of things to build. I'm already luckier than most. She looks at the place where her missing arm used to be. How do you stay safe from the beasts? You're completely open from the lake. Quick legs, love! Her brief yet thunderous laughter makes you flinch. We don't leave any food outside, but our cauldron smells. Every now and then something scary shows up. We lock ourselves here for days if we have to. Our windows help us keep an eye on the yard. Better this than leaving the hamlet to goblins. You mentioned that having no wall from the lakeside is quite a risk. She nods in agreement and reaches for a dried plum. We don't bring children and old folks around, but this part of the peninsula is not so bad, at least in sunlight. Not much food growing or running around unless you can live on fish and birds. And the folks of creeks are great hunters, greatest around. But isn't there a harbour in the city as well? How do you keep the creatures away? So, like, is this another thing where I just get to choose what the truth is? Because I don't know what it's like in Heidelberg. I've never been there. I don't know, I guess I go with this one. I was gonna say this one or this one, like maybe there's no beasts. Maybe it's a really cool place with no evil creatures. But then I was thinking, probably be unrealistic for there to be no creatures, so probably something like this. It doesn't bother people, but it's still there, I don't know. They mostly stay in the water, waiting for trash or drunkards to fall down from a bridge. Oh, chilling! One day we had such thing here during our first summer. 2 adventurers got drunk and went to watch the lake after dark. We'll hide if anything shows up, they were saying. In the morning the water was red and their rags were covering rocks. Any interesting beasts you hunt for? Oh, I hunt for nothing, she smirks. Not since I lost my arm. And the boys outside are not made for it either. They've no drive to fight, you see, and grew up to be wimps. They sometimes club down a hare, but we're all about foraging and bird traps now. The folks in creeks do the real hunting, she adds after a pause. Runners, mouflons, rats, sometimes a buffalo or a saurian. We have no soil for fields, so game meat is all we have. She stretches out, getting even taller. Do you hunt often? I do. Making a monster bleed makes me feel alive. Okay, calm down. Sometimes I set up traps, but I don't risk facing big game. That's hardly a hunt, is it? She leans forward, chuckling. Picking up a dead bird from a loop is not the same as pushing away a warm corpse that was just pinning you down to the ground. She looks towards the open window shutters. Not the same, but probably smarter. A friend of mine was a real huntress, for a year or so. So, what brought you north? You don't look like someone who spends their life cleaning tables. Once you burn enough dead friends and relatives, clean tables start to look plenty tempting. She leans forward and takes another look at her bottle, sealing it with an approving nod. My ma and pa were both big and strong. One time they saw me sitting on this kid, twisting his arm, so they started to teach me. Staff duels, running, lifting barrels and rocks. Thankfully the army chieftain said I wasn't disciplined enough. She rubs the scars on her forehead. So I did a lot of things. Escorted some merchants, joined a group of adventurers, hunted for bounties, guarded a village temple. The last memory makes her voice gloomy. Not all of these things make me proud of myself. She smells the mead in her cup, but doesn't take a sip. I moved here only after I lost my arm, when the folks were fleeing an invasion. I took my Illin, a casket of dragons, and joined a more organized group. Arm or not, I still have a fierce punch. She lets out a pleased grunt. I was worth keeping around. Her voice can't hide that she's delighted to carry on with her tale. Now that the years are catching up with me, and even more so with my back, I need to build myself a decent shelter. I crave no adventures, but I'm happy to hear stories from other restless souls. In the meantime, I'll practice this little trick. She points at the cauldron in the middle of the room and starts to make circles with her finger. The ladle mimics the movement, mixing the stew for another minute or 2. That's also good for my back. Your name's Foggy, and this is Foggy Lake. So is the tavern called after you, or after the lake? Ah, the lake has no name. She moves her cup away and leans forward, resting her elbow on the table. Her voice is playful, warm. Yet, I mean. But there will be stories about this place, believe me. And about passing by the lake while getting to Foggy's. I may not be a dragon slayer or a holy woman, but one way or another my soul will live on in my name, tied to these walls. She looks at you in silence and bursts into laughter. You could swear she makes the jars shake. I'm plenty fine being vain. We all want to be remembered, I think. My pa used to say memories of ours live in the blood of our children. But guess what? Kids die as well. All my brothers and sisters are gone. She pauses, but there's no sadness in her eyes. Stories have a better reach, We can tell each other about strangers who lived centuries ago. There's magic in that. So, you can move things with your thoughts. She chuckles. Why, can't you? I don't know much about magic. Without a teacher, there's not much you can do. My grandparents used to be great mages, but not great enough to survive the plague. Her scarred lips form a grimace. My ma got no talent from them. After a year of training, she was hardly able to move a feather by foot. I always knew I had strong pneuma in my blood, but there was no soul there to teach me how to use it. She examines her cup. I tried to figure it out by myself, but I may not have enough summers left. So what's going to happen next? Will you build a real wall? Why not? Then grow my connections in the villages, buy more hot drinks, build another shed, a cabin even, and hire a private warden for these roads, for my guests. She sips from her cup, looking at you. But it's all in the distant future. We at Creeks need to take care of the eastern route, clear it for the traders. Without trade, all I have is the locals, and they don't even use dragon bones. But why do you care, dear? You planning to stay around? I hope to stay on the road, visit other parts of the Dragon Woods. Is that so? All the tales I've heard make me glad I now have a place of my own. The trails grow green and thorny. The villages turn empty. The cities lose their reach. She leans forward and stares into your eyes. If that's really your plan, it won't end well for you. What'll you do without roads? I don't know, should I ask her this? Is that like insensitive to be like, how'd you lose your arm? I mean, she seems like somebody who wouldn't mind answering something like that, but I don't really want to ask, but I also do want to go through all the dialogue options, because I need to hear every single detail and every single thing that anybody ever says. I nod to the spot where her right arm should be. Any story there? She leans back, moving her shoulders and chest up and down as if she's having a soundless chuckle. Not one I'm going to share with a newcomer, dear. Stay alive until next autumn. I'll open a cask of cold cider and tell you quite a tale. It has treason, treasure, monsters, and dark spells, but I'm way too sober for it now. She grabs her cup. Her wink turns into an awkward blink. You seem to be into some expensive drinks. They're the pricey ones are gifts I received, or treasures I found when I was young. I also bought a few, yes. I like to offer something unusual to the wealthier or more promising guests. She tilts her cup and grabs a purple carrot from the snack plate. I dabbled with some recipes myself. I've plenty of brewing tools, though I can name maybe half of them. Still, from ales to hard drinks, I've had some successes. Let's change the topic. I must say, love, I rarely meet folks with that many questions. She gives you a warm look. What hides beneath them? I don't know, what should I say? Because this is the truth, but I don't want her to be like, oh, so you don't even care about me. You're just asking me random stuff or something. I wish there was an option to say, I'm just a very curious person, naturally. We're just hoping to learn something useful. She bursts into laughter. Can't say now if you're more of a trader, seeking chance wherever they are, or just one down-to-earth traveller. The latter. Every scrap of knowledge may help me survive. She nods. Very true, dear. Even the strongest ox needs to keep their ears clean. Oh my gosh, there's so much. So many things to ask. What can you tell me about the peninsula? She nods. I know this and that. Which place? What can you tell me about? Oh man, come on. Man, I hate having to put in stuff myself because I can't remember all the places. What do you know about Hovlevan, my home? Is that on the peninsula? No, Hovlevan is a different place that I came from. It's not even on the peninsula. White Marshes. How about White Marshes? It's an old village. I keep losing her voice, because I kind of start doing like this sort of thing, and then I kind of lose it, and I just start doing like this sort of thing, and then I need to go back up into my nose again, and then I kind of do like this a little bit, and I'm just not getting it fully all the way. It's an old village, placed among the bogs in the west. Not so far from here, but the road there leads around the woods, so it takes a good while. She rubs her chin. I'm sure you already know about the Awoken. I don't like what the folks there are doing, not one bit, but I can't blame them. They struggle. They don't know how to protect their kids or their elders. Orentius, their priest, she cracks her shoulders. A quiet man, but preaches like a zealot. Always looks like he's on the verge of crying. She opens the door with a wave of a hand, letting in some fresh air. She looks at the lake. They used to trade in lumber, those from Marshes, until Howlersdale started selling their own trees for better prices. The trade to Marshes died, and so came the hunger. She looks at you with an unclear grimace on her lips. You may judge them, but at least their preacher gave them hope, even if it's tied to black magic. How about Howlersdale? Well, there's a lot to say about Howlersdale, dear. Her eyes dart around. You have to press her before she says anything of note.
It's in the middle of the Western Road, among the safer lands, and has a large forest garden. Its folks eat and dress well, and have plenty of guards and the strong spells of their druids. She scratches her knee, measuring every word. Whatever you do, remember to laugh at the mayor's jokes. Her name's Thais. Don't stay in her way. Her voice is as grim as her eyes are serious. You recall your memories of Thais, a thin, smiling woman who likes expensive dresses. Foggy could squash her in the blink of an eye. How about Old Pagos? You'll do good visiting that place, dear. Maybe one of the oldest villages in the north, but even if it's not, it's safe, with strong walls and safe roads. Their crops are weak, but for generations now they've been cutting stone and building for other tribes in exchange for supplies. Some time ago they tied themselves to the monks, and now they don't look kindly on those who don't follow the orders of truth. She pauses, twisting her lips to one side, choosing her words carefully. But they're plenty fine folks, true believers, something lost in the city, not ones to deal in slave trading and pillage. Can I just list the name of any place? Like, could I say the Elder's Cave or something, or is she not gonna know where that is? Yes, there are druids there, in the old flooded mine. I don't know much about them. They keep close to Howler's Dell, helping with animals and plants. Only 2 of them ever came to Creeks, soon after we built our first palisade. My Ilan was but a baby. You ask her what they said, and she puts her fist to her forehead. They had no guards, no weapons, not even a wolf. We're older than I am now, but walking down these roads as if they owned them. They came to warn us, the shamanic twaddle you hear everywhere, that we are to stay humble and respect their woods. Ugh. It's the same as it is with the priests of the Unites, dear. Do keep your eyes low, nod without a word, then let them go and do your own thing. The ruins, can I ask about that? Damn it. I have the village ruins or something, or... Hardly any lies, hardly any I spare animals all the time. Slight combat experience, no sewing experience, average gambling experience. It's placed in what used to be an outpost for dragon hunters, older than mine, but finely renewed. Far away near the pass that leads through Hag Hills. An inn so you can rest there or buy yourself some food. Jason, the innkeeper, leads a group of big-game hunters, that when they're together he's like a cloud above them. Otherwise they can be a lot of fun. They haven't been here long, must not be much more than 10 years, and they mostly keep to themselves. I thought that was recently set up. A mystery, yeah, that it's still standing at all. There were always bad tales about that place. Folks disappearing or getting sick, highwaymen taking over. Caius, the one without a hand? She points towards his whereabouts with her thumb. He had a vision one night, something that turned his soul wicked. That's what Hag Hills do to folks. Do I look like a pious woman to you? She moves her bent arm up and down, flexing her muscles. The monks came to the mountain long before I got here, taking over the old pagan caves, trading their crafts for food with old Pagos. Now the entire village follows their teachings, and those who live in the monastery can stay inside as long as they want. A friend of mine needed to talk with them, so she called them with something like a bell. Then she stood by the gate for an hour, waiting for anyone to speak with her. You ask her for any interesting rumors, but she apologizes with a shrug. It's a place of secrets. There was this late fire mage from Gale Rocks, truly a dear. He told me that whenever he slept there, he felt as if his soul was stronger. Fingers lighter, spells brighter, he used to say. Well, the Howlers got him anyway. What else? There's Gale Rocks and Creeks are the places I have not even been to. Not the nicest bunch of fishers, are they? She chuckles, but there's motherly concern in her eyes. Harsh lives give birth to harsh folks, dear. They spend every sunny day on their fishing boats, then cut the sea fish all night long to place them in barrels or hang them in the smokery. They don't have crops, no lumber, no iron. The coastal birds and rock squabs are the only game meat. It's not too dangerous, being a fisher, but all they get comes from trading. Well, you can tell that's not good news. They try to be their own merchants, take the wares south, and with every year they need to burn more pyres. She scratches her broad chin. Hard to believe Gale Rocks is as old as it is, and that they stick to it, no matter how difficult their lives get. Creeks. Creeks is my home. It's younger than Ilan by over a year. It may be small, but I felt better with the folks there than I ever did at the capital. She takes a big breath. We used to live on wild game, fish, and foraged food, and after some years we chased the larger animals out of the forest. Now our youths learn carpentry. They make barrels, planks, tools. If trade ever comes back here, we'll have plenty of things to sell. There used to be only struggle, now there's hope and laughter. We may be poor, but it's the last joyful place in the north. Her eyes get gloomy as she reaches for one of the bottles from the shelf. Yes, there were struggles. I'm among our oldest. Those who came here with me... She pauses, then puts the bottle away. But now their children have a real home. Thanks! Could I spend a night or two under your roof? She approaches a window above the table and looks outside. Your beast won't make it easy for us, dear. She places her hand on the shutters. It's not a city inn. I don't cook for a smile. I don't work to feel noble. I allow folks to lie down there for free. She points to the bear fur with her broad chin. But that's about it. If your beast stays outside, it'll lure the beast to us. But if we move it here, upstairs, it'll get droppings on my floor. She gets annoyed even by the idea of it happening. So if you want to rest here, love, be either ready to pay with a coin or with some food rations, or to spend the night keeping your mount quiet. And clean after it in the morning, will you? She steps away. Can I take a look at your brewing set? I'm a bit of an alchemist. She frowns, but gestures for you to follow her. Don't touch anything. I've no toys here. She gasps as she squeezes through the trapdoor. Downstairs she has to lower her head to avoid the beams beneath the ceiling. The humid scent of over a dozen wooden barrels is free of putridity. Your eyes run over the trophies. The claws, bones, jaws, and tusks are gathered in piles, while the staffed heads of various creatures observe you with their fake eyes. Foggy lights a candle with the help of a tinderbox and leads you to a table in the furthest corner. The instruments made of glass, gold, and copper would allow you to brew even advanced potions. Bottles, scales, knives, alembics, mortars, a crucible. The jars on the shelf contain simple but useful ingredients. I could put this table to good use, Foggy. Could you now? Her voice is playful, but her face is covered with shadows. You could also set the place on fire, or spill my stuff, or break this glass thingy. She waves at one of the alembics and heads back to the stairs. We'll see how trustworthy you are, dear. We'll see. She suddenly turns back and gives you a harsh look. Don't you think I'll give you my stuff for nothing? We're in the middle of nowhere. Ingredients are expensive. You brew, you pay, and if I don't like the way you talk around here, you pay more. Rule of the tavern. I'm looking for work. She grins. I somehow doubt you're here to forage for me, love. Not that I have any room for another soul. Let me think. She runs her eyes over the shelves and the trophies, but it's the rocks surrounding the fireplace that catch her attention. The folks at Old Pagos are weirdly quiet. They were supposed to drop 2 wagons of rocks at my place. Can you check on them, just to find out if they're fine? You mentioned the payment. It won't take much work from a rider. You can get there and back in less than a day. Just ride west of here until you get to the crossroads, then another one. Turn west again, you'll find the village. I'll give you, let's say, a dragon bone. You mentioned that it's not much, but she waves it off. A Roadwarden should get familiar with all the villages anyway, right? Just do this when you have the chance. I'll have more coins for you once you prove you can be trusted with the simpler tasks. I already have heard this information, I'm pretty sure, yeah. I bring news from Old Pagos. They're not good. Listening to your tale, she rubs her forehead. Well, not what I was hoping to hear, love, but I'm glad you went there. Better warn the other settlements. Folks should know before they send their own messengers. It's going to be a rough few seasons for all of us. She pulls out a dragon bone from her pocket and tosses it in your direction. Here, good job. She steps towards the ajar door and looks at the lake. Want me to do anything else? She scratches the stump of her missing arm. A powerful voice carries a hint of a threat. I need a soul who can handle a delicate task, and I'm not sure it's you, dear. I've heard there are some bandits in the north. She makes an annoyed grimace. What can I tell you, dear? You know how it goes. Lost souls need a new path after an awfulness finds them, but the years go by and it doesn't get any easier. One day they take a pile of firewood, and another one some bread and some clothes. After they start hurting folks, there's no way back, even if they're not at all cruel. You ask her some more, but she's reluctant to give you straightforward answers. You don't have to worry about Glaucia's band. They hunt, sometimes take this or that, scavenge after folks who get jumped by beasts, but she never tried to threaten my place. You're safe here, and why would they try to bother a Roadwarden? Well, I hope Halvin doesn't send soldiers here, come on. She may be right. Some bandits are just desperate. What do you have for sale?
Now you're talking.
That was a weird delivery. Now you're talking! She grins.
Well, I could serve you some of my cooking. Not food rations, mind you. Need what we can save for the winter season. Let's say you give me a dragon, and in return I'll cook for you 4 times. You just need to ride up when you're hungry. And other than that, you won't take any wood or stone, will you?
Seeing you shrug, she waves it off and heads towards the trap door. After a minute, she shows up with a sack that clangs after every step. I can sell you some scraps. She pulls out a couple of iron clasps, nails, and a broken steel blade. A value trash.
We found them while foraging. We don't have a furnace in Creeks, but you could sell these bits and pieces to someone else.
She observes you for a moment and shrugs.
Let's discuss the price.
Let me take a look first. I wonder if those came from the wagon. Remember, there was that broken down wagon. They had all the nails and hinges and all the metal, everything kind of taken off, everything taken off the wheels and blah blah. Only I knew what 12 minus 5 was. 7, right? Because 7 plus 3 is 10, and 5 minus 3 is 2, and 10 plus 2 is 12. So I'd still have 7. I don't know, I think it might be good. I bought a set of iron scraps. I don't know why. They feel useful to me in my brain. Alright, time for me to go, I guess. You look around the chamber. What do I have to pay to do this, though? A big headache problem all of a sudden. I've been kind of losing my energy, like half reading as it gets worse. That's just one of those things that happens when you have chronic health problems. Sometimes you set out to do something one day and you're like halfway through it and all of a sudden you start feeling bad and then you have to decide whether you want to keep trying to do it or whether you should stop and rest. Perhaps it will be a short episode. Diddly-dabbly-doo. Do it again. How much does this cost? The table and nearby shelves contain precise tools and a decent supply of basic substances used as a base for various potions, bombs, or powders, but you'll have to compensate Foggy with dragon bones for using her store. Alchemical procedures take at least a couple of hours, which involve complex preparations of tools, mixing of ingredients, and maintaining the brewing process. Because of this, you have to be of a strong shell and sharp soul to make any mixture. Some of them can only be used once. I am good about this. Maybe I need to be clean and also fed well. Which mixture would you like to learn about? The ointment. The bulb you know of won't be enough to make the insects leave the water bank, but once you put it on your skin, they should cease their bites. You can easily make a whole jar at once and share it with your mount. 2 food rations takes 1 hour. Maybe another time! Healing potions may be the most desired liquid in the Dragonwoods, especially among the travelers, hunters, and fighters. The ones you followed so far are capable of keeping a soul on the verge of death, though it won't fix a freshly cut off limb, nor cleanse one's shell from an illness or poison. It can only be used once. 2 dragon bones, a bundle of black wound wart, a bundle of marshmallows, I have those. Oh, I need a collection of meadow herbs. Time 3 hours. Alright, maybe another time. I step away. I just wanted to see what that was like. There's a pleasant scent of chamomile coming from the unusually clean cauldron. As Foggy walks around, the towers over every piece of furniture. She welcomes you with a gentle nod. I go outside. I don't know if I should wash myself. Wasn't I just talking about how the lake was dangerous? I don't want to bring beasts into their little place they have, their little house. Where's the forages? The man in the black fur hears your steps. He nudges his companion and nods towards you. They put away the old noose traps they were trying to fix. Proper for hares and small birds. The tall one spreads his arms, thundering his loud welcome. A Roadwarden, huh? Guess we're gonna see each other a lot. I'm Ilan, and this shorty here's Tisvi. Zvi? Man in black fur looks up frowning. There's also the one-handed man you saw in the attic. Unlike the rest of the staff, he has an unkempt beard and worn clothes made of blue fabric, patched with scraps of flour sacks. He's looking down to examine a trap, but his shoulders are slumped, eyes absent. Ilan doesn't introduce him. Thistle, nice to meet you. Ilan smiles. Were you a pelt to the north yet, friend? He blushes. How's Delit doing? She's well. Seems to keep the whole crew together. His voice gets drowsy. Her soul is young, but everyone listens when she speaks. She's always so bored, that one. His smile turns into a grin. Better say hi to her for us. The boss was looking for hard drinks and healing potions. I wish I could have helped her. He glances at his companion, who's currently observing a column of ants running along the palisade. They were offering good prices, and she was really good at dice, and told us about so many monsters. Svi adjusts his black cloak. Our traps won't fix themselves. What brings you to us? Ilan frowns at this interruption, but says nothing. What's your plan? I could use some work. Svi nods, and Ilan's voice gets even louder. Glad to hear that! We're planning to do some bird catching. A hunt without killing. Maybe not today, but in 2 days, maybe a bit later. What do you say? Why would you need my help with birds? Don't you just let them walk into traps? Ilan glances at the cords used for snares. These won't do. We want to catch a runner. This big. He raises his muscular arm and stops it maybe a foot above his head. And bring it here alive. Want its meat for later. The man with one hand interrupts him. His voice is weak but disdainful. Beast ought to be dealt with, not tamed. Bonding with monsters brings only death. He has the accent of the city folk, same as yours. Oh, so he should speak like this.
Will bring us full bellies in winter,
squawks Svi. I can't leave my horse behind. Oh, I wouldn't worry about it. Ilan waves a hand just like his mother. The idiot will take care of it. The one-handed man starts to object, but a harsh shut up from Svi makes him sigh. His shoulders sag. Ilan goes on. He's a loony, would stumble over his own feet on a trip, but does what he needs when told to. And you know he won't steal it. He hates animals. What are you going to do with your catch? Tether it to the palisade for a day or two, then take it to creeks. Our tribesfolk have enough space to look after it through autumn. Maybe it'll drop a few eggs? Even if not, it's fresh food. Is there a problem with supplies in creeks? They exchange looks.
Maybe,
admits Svi,
but not big enough to make us pay you more.
What's your plan exactly? Ilan grabs a rope and shakes it in front of you. We'll catch its neck! Your part would be to keep it from running. Don't hurt it, just make it busy enough for us to surround it. I feel like I could use better equipment. Well, you shouldn't need weapons for it, friend, but you may look for something worthwhile in Howler's Dell. Ilan points west. Akakios is all about trade. Not much for idle talk, but he sells things for all his folks. This all sounds really dangerous. That's why we want you to do the rough part. Oh wait, that's the other guy.
That's why we want you to do the rough part,
Svi smirks.
We're just foragers. A Roadwarden knows how to fight, huh?
At least it's on its own, without its, flock. And how much do you pay? I mean, it may be a scary trip, but it won't take that long. Ilan shrugs. Just show up here at noon or before it, and we'll be back in a few hours. You'll get 5 dragons, 2 if the bird dies. That's a good price for one afternoon, huh? I would say it's BS, but we've rarely gotten 5 dragons for anything. We got 5 dragons for a healing potion. It's really hard to get dragons. Like, 5 dragons actually sounds like a lot for everything. Always. I don't know, is this like I could haggle and get more or something? Or fine. I'll be back in 2 days, or soon after that. Ilan grins. Do so! We still need time to prepare, and you better do so as well, but don't make us wait for long. Let's not test the bird's patience. Just come one day before afternoon. Okay, I have to remember that. I can't forget. I need to come back here to do the bird thing at some point. I don't know. I'm not even all the way through a day, but I've spent so long here. Like, I was here, and I got this far. I didn't actually I expected to kind of go really far. And also, I'm not feeling good. So, and it's been about 2 hours. Usually I record for about 2 hours, and it's been about 2 hours, and I don't feel good. So I might, even though I'm not actually done with the full map, the full amount of questions, I might just I might just save. But hopefully I can come back next time and actually kind of finish my conversations with these people. I guess I'll kind of just pick up here. I mean, hopefully some other day, whatever my next day to record is, when hopefully I'm feeling better and I don't have a headache and stuff, and I can actually kind of focus better on actually reading and stuff. I will come back, and it seems like I only have a few more things to say to them, and then I'll probably kind of be done with this area, and then I'm gonna continue on with my plan to just keep going this way as far as I can. Until maybe I reach... I mean, she's talking about creeks, so maybe I'm close to creeks, because she kept mentioning stuff about, creeks is my home, I'm near creeks, blah, blah, blah. So I think, yeah, the plan is finish out the what little I have left of the dialogue tree in this place that I am too weak to finish right now, and then, probably resume going far. But I do need to keep the amount of hours in a day in my brain. 9 hours and 45 minutes before dusk, so... I can theoretically sleep here, but it would be difficult, so it would probably be better for me to sleep here, or... Oh, I think I have to talk to the weird guy so he can clear away the creepers or something so that I can sleep here, but you know what I mean. So it seems weirdly like I didn't do that much, but just a lot of like reading and exploring and sitting with the world. That's kind of what I like about text-based games. It's like so much like detail and dialogue and questions asked and stuff that like it can feel like you've only done a few things, but like you've actually been like in the game for like an hour or something, and you're like, whoa. I would say maybe it'll be a shorter episode, but also the recording is still close to what my recording time usually is, so I feel like I should probably have enough. Though probably a lot of that is spaces of me just sitting there and not saying anything for 5 minutes, rubbing my head. Or I think there's like 10 minutes of the recording where it's just me eating saltine crackers and ginger ale. But you know, I don't know. Maybe it'll be a shorter episode. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. I'll pick up this and continue my way, whatever this direction is. What is that? East? Continue my way to the eastern path. And also I have to come by here and look at something at some point. But yeah, so thanks for watching. Sorry for episode kind of cut short. I don't like leaving stuff with dialogue untaken care of, but yeah, I should go like lay down or something, so. Thanks for watching, goodbye!